Greetings, Judah. DFG here, Gideon's Flight. Hey guys, I just want to take a moment and as a refresher, as a reminder to you, Judah, the commandments of Yah, at least one of the many commandments of Yah. And I realize that a lot of the commandments are somewhat burdensome to us, because obviously we can't go around killing, goats and different things. And, some of those things are difficult to keep. Some of them are, literally they just don't work, in this particular present time that we're in. But then there are other commandments that are not grievous for us to follow at all. And one of those commandments is, who should our alliance be to as a people? Should our alliance be to Yahuwah, or should our alliance be to men? And I've heard people many times get into this narrative around or take and misuse an epistle or a letter or a statement that was written by Paul, so-called, at least attributed to the so-called Apostle Paul, that that slaves obey your masters and obey those who are in authority in governments because Yah set them up. That's a lie. Yah might have set them up, but he didn't set them up for you to be obedient to them. And you might say, well, how are you going to say that, DFG? That's in the word. Well, because he said, come out of the world. You're not he said, you're in the world, but you're not of the world. Any man who loves the world and the things of the world, he said, the love of Yah is not in him or her. All right, so that's John. That's the apostle whom John loved, said that. The one he so called, if you believe in the narrative around the crucifixion, I mean, he gave John the authority over his mother to watch over her, to be a son to his mother. So John said that you're not supposed to be a part of this world, that you come out from among the world. If you have the love of the world in you, that's John, 1 John chapter 4. 1 John, you read 1 John, 2 John, 3 John talks about it, but I want to say 1 John either chapter 1 or chapter 2 tells you that if you have the love of the world in you, the love of Yah is not inside of you. So I don't want to hear this silliness from Paul, who never knew Yeshua, that you're misquoting, or even if you are quoting, it's a lie. It's a misstatement, or a misstatement that's being misinterpreted. But you got John over there saying that we're not supposed to be a part of this world governorship. I mean, in Matthew 4:4, Satan offered Yeshua the world. Did not if you bow down and worship me, all these things that you see and the glory of them I'll give unto you, because they were given to me. So now all of a sudden, as a people, we again in this late day, these last days, still are walking with blinders on our eyes. So well did Yeshua say to, follow me and let the blind, let the dead bury the dead. If the blind lead the blind, they're both going to fall into the ditch. Because so many of our people are still walking in total blindness when it comes down to this whole political season. As though this government, the government of these United States of America, has ever been inclusive towards you and your needs or your ancestors' needs. And that's what brings me to this particular message, guys. Because someone sent a note out or put out a statement. And I know where the statement came from, and it's not really important where the statement came from as much as the importance of what the statement says. And I had to give you that I guess I would call that forelogue before, because I wanted to kind of set this thing up right, to get you, at least to hopefully open up your eyes and open up your ears to what I want to share with you. So I'm going to share with you this statement. I'm going to give you a little dialogue on this statement, and then I'm going to come back with some precepts on it. What I mean by precepts? The word of Yah. What Yah has said about us and to us. Now, I want you to check this out. And I'm going to read, this is what the statement reads. And check it out. It says, while Democrats have long acknowledged our struggles and the crimes enacted against us, and rightly so, because quite frankly, it was the Democrats who enacted most of those crimes against us. Go back and look at your history. Read your history. George Wallace, Democrat. Roosevelt, Democrats. Hell, the few republics that you are credited to, a few of the Republicans that we supposedly hate, Lincoln was one of them, who's the supposedly great emancipator. He was a Republican. But if you go back and as you look at, all of these things that the Dixiecrats, these were Ross Barnett, what's his name? Throne Norman. I think it's South Carolina. All these guys segregationists. All of them. Segregation today, segregation tomorrow, segregation forever. Democrats. You follow me? The Ku Klux Klan is a Democratic organization for the most part. At least they were. And yet, you know, we sit here and we let ourselves be induced into, you know, being a Democrat because a Democrat is where we're supposed to be. Why? Because they care about us. How? When? How's your life better because of Democrats? And please don't tell me no bullshit about no Obamacare and all that. Like that's the only problem we had was health care. Are you serious? Mass incarceration of black men was shot sky high under Obama, and so did murder. Remember when Obama was president? Obama is supposedly be from Chicago via Hawaii, via, you know, somewhere in the Middle East, some goddamn where, right? Or South. I can think of it. I know his dad was one of those damn islands, not Malaysia, but it was one of them damn places. Some of you guys know what I'm talking about. Your stepfather was, and your father was Kenyan. No, but not Obama with this Medicare, because Obama was in office and with one primary agenda, pushing homosexuality rights, gay rights, and gay marriage, and gay legislation, point blank, period. Did not give a rat's ass about us. Man from Chicago, as I stated. And yet Chicago murders at the time of his presidency, they were averaging 700, 800 murders a year. And Obama did not a damn thing to intercede on that or to try to figure out what was going on and put a stop to it. He sat right there and turned his head and looked the other way. When Michael Brown was killed in Ferguson, what did Obama say when those young men started protesting? He came and said it was a bunch of thugs and hoodlums. And that he would lock them up. That's exactly what he said. So I don't hear nothing about, you know, the Democrat Obama and all the rest of the lies. Bill Clinton, another Democrat. What did he do? Passed the three strikes bill. They, again, locked up our men and women. Hillary Clinton, what? Democrat. Called us a bunch of super predators. A bunch of bottom dwellers. I think it's what she said. They caught on tape when her and Bernie were running against each other. Remember that? A bunch of deplorables. These are your Democrats. But anyway, this statement goes, and I'm going to try to get through this quick, guys. I know sometimes I can go on, you know, and I appreciate your patience with me. I really do. But let the Spirit lead us where the Spirit takes us. Let the Rahoot go wherever the Rahoot goes. While Democrats have long acknowledged our struggles and the crimes enacted against us, in other words, they knew it was happening, they have done very little to provide actual remedies or prepare us for the future that doesn't center on our brokenness, like restoring us through reparations. Every time you ask a Democrat that question, they don't have nothing to do with Joe Biden to say, well, not unless it includes everybody else. Like everybody else, you know, were enslaved for 400 plus years, you know, on this enslaved and placed into these segregation in communities, you know, these Jim Crow communities, these black coal communities where we were forced from the prison, from the plantation to the prison to continue their work. Bill Clinton, 3 strikes. Joe Biden, the same with the Biden Act. I don't give a damn who's responsible for putting them on drugs. I don't care if we are responsible for the crack epidemic in their communities. Lock their asses up and keep them there. That's what Joe Biden said. Democrat. But yet, you know, and the reason you might say, well, what sparked you say, well, damn, all this is just about reading something. No, someone sent this. And when I asked them, you know, and when I put this out, they respond back to me, oh, you want 45 again? And I'm like, what the hell this statement has to do with 45? Just because I say, you know, that Democrats have never did a damn thing for us, only used us for political gain and influence, but never repaid us for anything we ever done for their asses. A few fake jobs, a few fake, programs around, what is the word I'm looking? Affirmative action programs that ultimately turned out to be something totally different than helping blacks get a foot up in society. Little token shit here and token shit there. That's all that was about. Now affirmative action, everybody's getting it. Except for you, I might add, Judah. But how does this lead them to tell me about 45? That's where the shit started at. If you want to know the truth about it. At least that's what kind of got the hair on the back of my neck got me a little, agitated. Brought that Judah lion out of me. Because this has got not a damn thing to do with 45. And as I said many, many times, I'm going to bring your scripture back up. The President of the United States has no power except the power that the rich and powerful gives unto him, period. point blank simple. He's only allowed to do what they want him to do. Don't you remember in the early part of 45's administration, Trump, how he would make a decision and then turn around and reverse the decision 2 or 3 days later? Because that fool, that stupid idiot really thought he had power. And then somebody gave him a phone call and told him, you're not going to do that. And he said, yes, sir. Yes, sir, massa. And he came right back and reversed it, time and time again. I mean, it got to the point where the guy was flip-flopping so much you didn't know if he was a goddamn fish or a goddamn human. A fish out of water or a goddamn human walking on the ground. Just constantly back and forwards. Because they were putting his ass in check, and now he's firmly in check. It ain't about no damn 45. It's about you, Judah. It's about where your mind is, Judah. About where are you going to continue to be rebellious when y'all said we shouldn't have nothing to do with this crap unless y'all put up on their heart to treat us right. Not treat us right, to give us what they owe. Excuse me. I give a damn about their treatment. I care about them paying what they owe. The debt that they owe to our ancestors, and many of us who family members were mass incarcerated, cattled, and you know what I'm saying, and herded into these penitentiaries and put in these deplorable environments, using her word now, where their jobs were scarce, the economy was almost non-existent, and when they did integrate us into their so-called neighborhoods, their asses ran away, ran for cover, took that same money, went out to the suburbs, raped the city of all of its resources, and built up the suburbs, and left our children in public school systems that might as well just have been little damn crime schools. Or places where you just babysit super idiots, not super predators. That's what your Democratic Party redlining, redistricting, and all these so-called programs that your Democrats, when they were in power, not only did they let happen, in many cases, they were the ones who encouraged that legislation. Again, Clinton, Biden, and if you want to add the homosexual gender to it, old rotten ass Obama. Now that don't take the filth and the dirt off of Trump. It just means I got enough sense to know both sides of them are wicked. They're two tits on the same bull or the same cow. That's what I understand. Why can't you, Judah? Why do you have to constantly fall into this foolishness that I got to vote for the lesser of two evils, or I got to vote for Obama, or I got to vote for Biden because, you know, the Indian woman, Kamala Harris, is with him and her skin is brown, so that makes us us. Constantly participating in wickedness. Because if you stand behind these people with your vote, then you're standing behind these people with their decisions. And if these people are pushing homosexuality, Planned Parenthood, pro-choice, etc., that blood is on your hands, Judah. Just so you know. And if you didn't know, now you know. But let me finish this statement. It goes on to say, and as we approach the 2020 election, I am asking the black community to consider the realities of our current economic state. Absolutely right. The condition of our schools and neighborhoods. Go into black communities and take a look at go into the schools in the black community, and then go into neighborhoods in the black communities, and you tell me if this is not a flat out, shame. This nation ought to be ashamed of itself, the school system that only our children are forced into. And they try to justify, well, they don't have the tax base, we don't have the economic base, Y'all, you need to vote for us. When you vote for us and get us in office, then we'll fix all those things. Lie, lie, lie. We've been voting Democrat since Roosevelt, and our situation hasn't gotten any better since Roosevelt. That's the 1930s, if you don't know, in case you didn't know. But let me continue. I don't want to stop here. But then it goes on to say that the number of our young black men who are incarcerated, 60% of the prison population, black and Hispanic, and we only, in the two communities together, is less than 30%. 1 out of every 3 black babies born today, so-called black Hebrew Israelite babies born today, will spend some time in the prison system. 1 out of 3, guys. And you don't think this government has something to do with it. You don't think the Democrats had something to do with it when Clinton and Biden both told you they had everything to do with it. At least in the last 40 years. Not even 40 years, since the 1990s, last 30 years. They both readily admit they did. And neither one of them are ashamed of it. Or they'll say, well, if I had to do it all over again, I'd probably do something different. Just a damn lie. That's for political expediency. They're saying that shit. When they get in office, or if he gets in office, watch and see what he does. See if he has a true change of heart. No, that devil gonna take off that sheep clothing, and you're gonna see that wolf. Let's go on. And by the way, Kamala Harris too, locking our men up and had put in jails where population inside these jails were at 200% capacity. And when the states and the federal courts had said let these men out, she refused to let them out. And the justification was why? Who's gonna do the prison work? Who's gonna take care of big corporation America? Who really runs the government, by the way? Not Donald Trump, not 45 or any of the other 40s. Oh yeah, they could put in legislation that's supported by the corporations. Of course, corporations are gonna support it. I mean, that's free labor for them. Cheap labor, slave labor is the best kind of labor. That's very profitable. Looking over at China, talking about child labor, you look right in America and see it. Look for slave labor. Grown men and grown women, slave labor, and children too. I'm sure in these juvenile facilities, detention facilities. I'm sure they got them in there working and building things that they're taking out to market, and these guys getting nothing for their labor. Let me continue on. For too long have they been lied to by the Democrats who have relied upon the votes, on our votes to maintain them in power. For too long have we believed that the state is sovereign, and we do not belong to the Democratic Party, Judah. Judah, we do not belong to socialism, Republican Party, Judah. We answer to the true Yah, not to the God of this government, Judah. Now that's what this letter says. How would someone reading this letter attack me, saying, "Well, if that letter, if you agree with that letter, then you want 45 in?" Our people perish for a lack of knowledge. That's the book. You know what I'm saying? I think that's 2 Chronicles 7:14. And it's really sad that, again, that's what this letter means, that I want 45 in again. What this letter is simply telling you why you letting people use you and misuse you, hold you out, and then turn right back around and then cut you off, at the knees. And you just continue to let them do it over and over again, like a battered wife who say, "Well, he only beats my ass because he loves me." You just don't understand. He just loves me. That's why he tries to kill me. That's what you sound like, Judah, with this foolishness. And again, the government are just, they're at best puppets. Big corporation America, powerful entities in America. The rich, the wickedly powerful, that's who run every government on the planet, not just the government here, guys. The people who run this government runs it from Rome and from England, from China and from Russia, from South America, Canada, North America, Australia, Antarctica, Africa. High power and high places. And for you supposed to be spiritually minded, Judah, how do you not know that? How do you study this book and not know what I just said is true? How do you study this book and get caught up in local politics or national politics without them clearly restoring you? You know what I mean by that? Economically, socially, educationally, environmentally. How? How? And what does the book tell you? If you're studying the word, Judah, then you have no excuse for this ignorance. You have no excuse for saying that Donald Trump is the problem. You have no excuse for that. And he'll tell you why. Go to Ephesians chapter 6. Praise God. We're almost done. Go to Ephesians chapter 6. And I want you to go to verse 12. And here's where it goes. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood. Know what that means? Man. So all you people are talking about 45. 45 is just a man. He is not our problem. The book tells us that we wrestle not against flesh and blood. It's talking about man when it says flesh and blood, guys, ladies. It goes on to say, but against principalities, principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, spiritual against spiritual wickedness in high places.
spiritual wickedness in high places. Spiritual wickedness in high places. That's where our problem lie. Not in 45 or 46 or 44 or any of these goddamn presidents. They're nothing but Masonic, demons in human clothing used by the system to beguile you into believing that you have a say in anything. And every time you turn around, you end up one short. Whether it's in the prison system, in the murder system, the drug system, but somehow at the end of the day, you're used time and time again, like a pimp using a hoe and then getting rid of her so he can get more new hoes every election season. How about that, Judah? And I'm going to wrap this thing up. You know why this happens to us over and over, Judah? You know why? I'm going to tell you why. Let me tell you why, Judah. This is our real problem. Praise Yah. Judah, here's our problem. This was Moses giving the last speech, our ancestor Moses giving the last speech to the people before he went on to the next world. Okay? Before his death. And listen what he said to them. For I know your rebellion and your stiff neck. Behold, while I'm here with you alive, with you this day, you have been rebellious against the Lord, against Elohim. And how much more will you be after I die? He says, I know you guys. I've been watching you guys. You've been being rebellious against Elohim, against Yah, while I've been with you. I know what your ass is going to do when I die. And how true prophecy this is. And still is today. Rebellious and stiff-necked. Saying, letting someone else tell you how you should be a part of a system that was set up on the oppression of your ancestors. This whole government system, political, 100%, it was legal for you to be enslaved. Our ancestors be enslaved. Mass incarceration, today's prison system or plantation system is legal. And that same American flag, stars and stripes were flying back then, that's flying right now. That's oppressing you, Judah, and your people. And you're talking about you have a voice in the politics of what happens in this nation? You must be out of your mind. This nation belongs to Satan. You're our adversary to Satan, Judah. Why do you think you're trying to wipe our asses off this continent? He hates you. But he's going to come back and tell you he loves you because he needs you, Judah, until he's done with you. And then he's going to show you his fangs. Whether it's Biden, Trump, it doesn't matter who it is. So let's close this message. I think I've given you some precepts here, something that hopefully to break the yoke of wickedness that's on many of you. I got to take the lesser of two evils. What you want, 45 again? Get out of here with that bullshit silliness. Silly rabbit. One more time. This is the statement. You tell me why this statement can't resonate within the heart of Judah. While Democrats have long acknowledged our struggles and the crimes enacted against us, they have done very little to provide actual remedies or prepare us for a future that doesn't center on our brokenness. They're dead set on us being a broken people, as we are, Judah. As we approach 2020 election, I'm asking the black community of Judah to consider the realities of our current economic state, which is the worst of all nations, all ethnic groups in this country. The condition of our schools and neighborhoods, which are the worst of all ethnic groups in this country. If the number of young men incarcerated, who are the majority of all ethnic groups in this country. For too long we have been lied to by Democrats who have relied upon our votes to maintain them in power. For too long have we believed that the state is sovereign, like they have no power or no authority in what the really hell is going on. Yeah, they're the arm of the government who you can't see, the hidden arm of the government. It goes on to say, we do not belong to the Democrat Party. We don't belong to them. They don't own you. We do not belong to the socialists or socialism, Republican Party, as far as I'm concerned. They don't own you. They don't own us. We answer to Yah, and not to the government or the God government of this world. I'll let you later, Judah. Well, did Moses stay? A rebellious and stiff-necked generation we are.